Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Aditi. I'm a registered clinical counselor here in British Columbia, Canada. And as a psychotherapist, one of the conversation we often have in our field of work is mental resilience. So we are going to talk about what are some of the basic foundational pieces we can implement in our life so that we can be a little bit more mentally resilient in face of stress. So let's look at the basics. What does research say? Research says that even 20 minutes of a walk, some kind of a physical activity, exercise, can make a difference. So consider adding a little bit more exercise in your everyday life. Could be 3 to 5 days. You don't want to go overboard. So a little bit of exercise could be really, really useful. Sometimes we are so caught up in our to-do list that we forget to rest. So when you are resting, you are able to recover from all these stressors. So think about adding some rest, conscious, intentional rest. My personal favorite is looking at how am I breathing and implementing some breathing techniques. So breath work, mindfulness, meditation, they can be really helpful in recharging and resetting our nervous system. I'm also a big proponent of DBT skills that we can use in our everyday life to build a little bit more resilience. Some of these skills from DBT practice could be exposure to cold when we are feeling really hot, or when we are feeling hot, we can splash cold water on our face, or we can step out in fresh air. The other thing is, let's think of solutions. So when we are in the middle of a problem, we get stuck into what ifs, or we can get stuck into analysis paralysis and we end up doing nothing. So we can focus our attention on solutions, taking one simple step as opposed to staying stuck where we might be. We can also look at adaptive distraction. That's another technique that can be really helpful. So we can use distraction as a coping tool, but let's use adaptive distraction, because distraction can become maladaptive. For example, with social media, we can use distraction, but when we don't know when to stop, that becomes maladaptive, because now we have spent so much time on social media that we haven't taken action that could have been productive. We can also learn from our mistakes. What happened in the past that didn't work out in my favor? So learning from those past mistakes, and we can reframe stress to be more adaptive. Positive stress is a thing. So thinking about stress in a positive way, positive stress helps us focus, get things done. But when it crosses a certain threshold, that's where it becomes negative. So thinking about how do I reframe stress as adaptive, and when do I need to step back and rest and recharge? When do I implement mindfulness strategies, breath work? How do I include exercise? And also having a strong support system, whether that means having accountability partner, whether it means surrounding ourselves with people who are supportive, because we technically are energetic beings, and we pick up the mirror neurons of people we are surrounded with. So sometimes we can be co-regulators of people around us who might be a little bit stressed, a little bit dysregulated. But if we are continuously surrounded by people who are dysregulated, then we have to up our self-regulation game and have to then co-regulate them, which can become exhausting. So think of, who do I surround myself with? Who is in my corner? Who is my support system? Then if you're setting yourself goals, set them in a way that you are able to accomplish them. So SMART goals, we want to be able to accomplish these goals. So we are our own cheerleaders. We are setting ourselves up for success. We can choose short-term discomfort over long-term discomfort by taking those actions which seem very hard. So you have a choice of A or choice of B. They both are hard choices, but you get to decide which hard are you going to choose. Some of the other solution-focused things you can do, coping mechanisms, going on a hike, running, swimming, anything body-based could be really helpful. Sitting in the park and soaking in the environment, fresh air, sunshine, or the smell, or having some tastes that are soothing and comforting and really enjoying the moment, being present in the moment can help us build a little bit of a resilience. We also want to learn from our mistakes, because when we learn from our mistakes, then we can change our perspective. Then we don't consider that we are failure. We can think of it as assessment. We can think of it as a lesson learned. So yeah, there's no such thing as a failure. There can only be improvement. And if we failed at something, we can shift our narrative as opposed to what do we consider as failure. I think us just attempting something shows that action piece, which should be commendable in some ways. So those are some of the basic things that I think we can all consider in order to move forward in our lives, in order to become a little bit more mentally resilient, and being kind, empathetic people, inviting a little bit more curiosity and creating that shift in our life so that we can feel our best selves. Thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you will share it with someone that you think can benefit from this. And I will see you around with another topic of conversation. Until then, take care.